Hello, it's been a really long time since I've made a video on this channel, but I'm going to be pitching it now as a software development channel. I'm going to be building software specifically around LLMs, which are obviously blowing up right now, and I'm going to be applying them to code generation, which I may have a bias, seeing as I'm a software developer, is one of its biggest utilizations at the moment. I see some applications of it in law which look interesting, given that the nature of the application and these models and its architecture is to hallucinate and come up with new content, and then them trying to pull out the hallucination aspect of it. Seems a little conflicting to me. But I'm really excited to apply it to coding, and the complication we have is to keep the amount of information that's going into the model down so it doesn't risk hallucination, despite some of the top tier models proclaiming that they have 1 million token context links, and that does look quite promising. You still do run into this issue of it just hallucinating content. So prompting strategies of how you communicate with them, agentic workflows of how you can create these control flows of how they go through node by node and which vertices point to which, and having conditional based flows for it to have a very constrained approach of how you interact with the multiple agents and what each one is doing, so that you can then have one, say, produce the unit tests for the feature that's being scoped out by a communication with the user. And then once you've got that feature scoped out, you break it down into user stories and then into tasks. And you use the information coming from the console and the IDEs, language server protocols, and basic abstract syntax tree representations of the code itself, and you feed all that back in so that the LLM can have more context and decide about how it's going to bring into scope other parts of a very large code base, which I feel like is the main thing that's lacking at the moment. We've got some promising tools like Devin, which has a very novel approach to the UI in providing you with the browser and the code and the terminal all in one. But we're not yet to see that in a large-scale open release yet. So I'm going to start building my own. And I've been building one since, I think it's either GPT-3 or GPT 3.5 came out. And I've started and stopped on it multiple occasions, mostly stopping around whilst learning the basics of language server protocols and how I'm going to implement those. And then also parts around Git as well and version control, and using that to create diffs on the code base. You can decide how you're going to have the model evaluate the changes that it's producing. But I'm going to continue in this now, and I'm going to start releasing some of my code openly and posting it on YouTube and also on Twitter. And I look forward to answering your comments and listening to your feedback and going along this journey with you guys. And I'll try to break it down at a lower level to help the new software developers take part, but I will be focusing more on a mid to senior level and avoiding explaining the basics, but hopefully successfully pointing you in the right direction to the resources you would need if you want to take part and join in this area. And feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to provide you with resources to help you start your own software development career. If it's just a hobby, I really enjoy programming, absolutely. I've been programming since I was 14. Just kind of got swept up in it from playing a game called RuneScape. Now old school RuneScape, because I'm not into that RuneScape 3. And that game was what got me to learn Java, so I could make my own version. And yeah, no looking back from there. Web development, mobile applications, C++, desktop applications, backend servers, DevOps, AWS cloud infrastructure. It just never stopped. So yeah, looking forward to going along with this journey with you, and I'll be posting weekly updates. Thank you.